Hello. So once again, another random and spontaneous video. There was no plan, as usual, to make a video. But it seems in the story this morning, quite a busy morning, been to the gym and been walking, spent a bit of time with the kids. And a thought pops up about making a video. So when a thought pops up, where did that thought come from? Whose thought is it? Can you control what thoughts pop up? It's become really obvious here and undeniable that what seems like my thoughts or your thoughts or their thoughts or his thoughts or her thoughts come from the same place. And that they do not come from a separate self or an imagined me character. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but what's being noticed here through direct, I'm going to call it experience. You know, this appearance that's here, you know, through direct experience in terms of, it's more of a sensory experience, you know, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, sensations. It's become really clear that that self that you might believe, and it is only a belief, it's a thought that you believe in, that self that you believe you are, isn't here in this, I'm going to call it experience. You know, if you try to look for you now, here in this, it cannot be found. It's a thought illusion. And it's always been that way. So that self that you believe you are has never been. If that has been sensed, if you that's watching this has experienced or sense that there is no one here, then you will resonate with what's just being said. And it is clear and obvious that any thoughts that pop up, thoughts that appear or arise within this timeless immediacy, don't belong to anyone. And then it's realized by no one that no one's doing anything, and no one's ever done anything. Nobody can do anything. The appearance of someone doing something or having done something or planning to do something can happen, but it's an illusion, because it's just a belief in a thought. But going back to direct experience or direct seeing, where are the thoughts? Can you show me the thoughts? So there's nobody inside your body moving that body. I'm not making this up. It's a fact. There is no person housed inside a human body. The body moves by itself, by this. This is running the show, not you. You just believe that you're in control of that body and you're in control of them thoughts. If you was really in control of your body and really in control of your thoughts, would you have lived the life that you've lived? So yeah, that's all that's being shared in these videos. I don't know why these videos are happening. I always say that. Again, a thought pops up and I press record on the phone, and here we are. But the illusion of you, the illusion of the story it can feel so real. So the illusion is that, okay, so you're inside your body and you and your life started when you was born, and you've moved through time, and all these events and circumstances and people and places have happened and experiences, and you've moved through time and it's led you up to this point now, and it's going to continue tomorrow and for however long you imagine time to be, and then you will die. That's the illusion. And I say it's an illusion because in direct seeing, that's not actually happening. It's never happened. Only this timeless isness is. We can't deny that something's appearing. But if you look at the appearance or sense this appearance, there is no story here of you and story of your past and a story of an imagined fantasy of a future. It's all thought. It's all thought-based. And, it's okay if you want to believe in thoughts. It's absolutely, I'm not judging anyone. I'm just pointing to what is here and also what isn't here, and kind of distinguishing which one is more, I'm going to say, true. There's no truth. There's just this. But you can kind of see what isn't true. Because if you really analyze or deconstruct what a thought is, well, it's nothing really. It's just a movement of energy that appears in this. What I would say is that if you identified with that person, if you really believe strongly that you are that me character, then this gets overlooked. It's always here. You can never not be in this. But it kind of gets overlooked through identification with thoughts that are not here in this. So going back to what I said at the start of the video about the thoughts that pop up. So thoughts might arise, memories may pop up of your imagined past, of being a 8-year-old girl or boy. Did you choose that memory to pop up? Or did it just appear? So when the memory of the past appears, the me character claims ownership of that memory, that thought, that it belongs to me, that it's mine, it's my life. You become attached to that and really identify and believe in that thought. Whereas what's been seen here is that when a thought arises, it's just a thought. You don't have to do anything with it. So this appearance that's here, everything that appears and disappears within it is just a phenomena that appears and disappears, just like a bird flying across the sky, or the sound of a dog barking, or a memory of the past. This is brand new. It's a brand new, timeless appearance, bursting with aliveness, always. It's always been that way. I think I'm going to say the problem. I think the problem for most people who are identified with the me character and the story is that it brings a lot of suffering. You know, you might have done something yesterday or last year and you feel sort of guilty or ashamed of it. And that story's playing over and over again and you're really suffering because of it. So I suppose if there's any liberation to what's being shared here, is that it's the end of that. It's seen that nobody's ever done anything. Nobody's to blame. This is perfectly imperfect. It's whole and complete. It doesn't make a mistake. And it's fresh, brand new aliveness. Or if you're stressing about something that might be happening tomorrow or next week or next month, if you're identified with that me character and that story, it can breed a lot of suffering or anxiety or worry. So again, I don't know why these videos are happening, but if there's anything, worth talking about, it's probably the liberation from all that fucking noise, all that mental narrative, which, you cannot actually do anything about. There's no one that can choose the thoughts from arising, but there just seems to be, if this has been seen clearly, there just seems to be, I don't know what words to use, a kind of a distance between it, or just seeing through the illusion. There's nothing wrong with the thoughts. They're this. It's, this includes everything. It includes the me character, it includes the story, it includes the suffering, it includes the resistance to the thoughts. I suppose it's a bit like being a child. Kind of. I mean, I'm not saying a child, when a thought arises for a child, they can't get distressed or create a story about it. But it's less likely, if you look at a 6-year-old playing Lego, playing football, it's just that. That's all that's happening. Where it seems adults have been so heavily conditioned with beliefs, ideologies, and all this imagination. And, it's wonderful. I'm not saying there's anything right or wrong with it. The capacity to believe in thought is incredible. But what seems, this sounds harsh, but what's been noticed here, when you look around society, it's like nearly everyone has got a psychological disorder. What I mean by that is everyone's created this psychological world, so a psychological me character with all these other psychological selves and this world, all these places and events and circumstances and story after story after story. Again, I'm not saying there's anything right or wrong with it, but if you look not that it's you looking, but if there's just a seeing of what is, this silent, still, timeless aliveness that's here is always at peace. Always. Always at peace. And there's a relaxation when that's sensed. So all I'm talking about is this, and when I say this, it's unknown. I don't know what this is. You don't know. Nobody knows what this is because there's nobody here to know it. And you might say, well, that's just a belief, but it's not. This is before all beliefs. So what I'm pointing to, or what's being shared, is, that sense that you're alive. There's a sense of existence that's here. It can't be spoken of. It just is. All words, all thoughts, imagination, ideas come from this. So no word can describe this. Nobody can describe this. You can just kind of talk around it. It's not going anywhere. This that's here can't go anywhere. Where would it go to? This that's here can't be switched on or switched off. It's just on. It's not going anywhere. It's completely effortless, at rest, at peace. It's always been that way. It'll always be that way. But if you identify with all that mental noise, as I said earlier, this gets overlooked. Anyone who's watched my previous videos, I do bang on a lot about time. It's probably one of the reasons why the channel's called Imagine Story Time. But it just, here anyway, it just seems that time is the biggest. It's really useful, in the relative world. Obviously, time is useful. It plays its role. But it seems like, here anyway, it's been seen through. It's the biggest illusion. It's the biggest trick. There's nothing right or wrong with it. because it's just wholeness, playing a game. But this that's here, there's no time here. There's never been any time. So this isn't going anywhere. This hasn't come from anywhere. It's incredible how this can pull off the illusion of time. Again, this is where the me character survives, in the belief in time. You know, you was born once upon a time. And then you got a story time that led up to this. And then, well, how much time have you got left before you die? All of that is an illusion. And if you identify with it, then, like I said before, it just seems I don't know if it's the case for everybody, but it just seems to cause suffering. You know, the memories of the past. Oh, I wish I could go back to that. You know, if only I could turn back the hands of time. Oh shit, I'm gonna die one day. I need to do this before I die, before I get cancer. All this mental noise about the past, present, and future, this imagined timeline that doesn't exist. Only this immediacy that's here is. On the peppermint tea again. Excuse me. You know, I don't want to, I'm not denying the thoughts of the me character or the thoughts of the story. They clearly appear in this, and they can be enjoyed, or you can suffer from them. It's wonderful. I think it's amazing, the story. You know, it seems that in this imagined world, there's billions of people with trillions and trillions of stories, all these characters. I think it's incredible. I think it's breathtaking, really. You can't even comprehend it, you know, if you really sit in silence, and which happens a lot here. Not so much anymore, but when I was a seeker, it's breathtaking, really. You know, you can't understand this. You're never going to get this. It's already this. You can't find this. It's already this. If you think you're going to get this in the future, you will never get this. Because there is no next. Where would the next be? Again, it goes back to the time, you know, time, believing in time. You know, anything that's ever happened in the imagined past happened now in this. Any thoughts of a fantasy of a future event will not happen in the future. It will happen now in this. This doesn't move. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to talk about as usual. I hope it resonates with people or not. It doesn't really matter. I've not been making as many videos. Well, I can only think because my kids are off school here in the UK. But I've got the house to myself at the moment. My wife and my kids are out today. Again, a story appearing now in this. So as I said before, it's not a denial of the story. The thoughts pop up. Thoughts of you and your life and the people in your life and the story pop up. But what's being shared is they're not your thoughts. You can't control the thoughts. You can't control the body. You can't control anything that appears. You know, if you can't wrap your head around that, you know, start with the body. The breathing happening by itself, eyes blinking, blood pumping around the body, as if you're doing any of that. But then it can be seen that the words being spoken, lips moving, there's no one controlling anything. And I know it can sound insane if you're completely identified with me. This is my body. I'm in control of this body. I'm in control of my thoughts. If you really believe that, then it's hard to see through that illusion, because the belief is so heavily conditioned from a very, very young age. It would seem that these human bodies, obviously when the baby's born, there's no sense of self. I mean, that just gives it away straight away. But the me character seems to be believed in or identified with from around the ages of, 1.5 years old to 2.5 years old, when the toddler then believes, this is me, that's my mum, that's my dad, that's my brother, that's my sister, that's my toy. It's an incredible illusion. So I suppose all that's being shared is that, that can be seen through. And I wouldn't say it's a success or an achievement to see through it at all. It's the opposite, because when this is seen for what it is, it can be devastating, and it's a bit of a tragedy, because it's the end of the belief in you. So I'm not saying that, the thoughts of the Gavin Brooks character never pop up here anymore. Of course they do. Again, as I said before, no one's in control of the thoughts that pop up or the stories that arise, but it's just the seeing through it. So I would say, let's call it enlightenment or liberation or awakening, whatever you want to call it, no self-realization. I would say all it is the end of the belief in the me character and other characters as well, and stories. But the cosmic joke is it's always been that way. There's never been anyone here. And I would say it's the end of seeking. Because when it's realized that this immediacy is all there is, and there's nowhere for it to go, it hasn't come from anywhere, it's a timeless stillness, and there's no control, there's nothing that you can get from what is. How could you get anything from this appearance? This is everything. So why would you want anything? There's nothing to find, there's nothing to get. And it's a hell of a relief. If you've watched my videos, I was an extreme seeker for decades, always chasing, always wanting, what's next, me. And the relaxation and the relief from all that, through exhaustion, really, or suffering, can be peaceful, relaxing. That's worth talking about. I mean, sometimes you think, well, what's the point in talking about this when it's already the case? But I don't know. I mean, if it just seems that most people are completely, I said it before, most people are completely identified with the thought of me and my life and my story, and it brings about a lot of suffering. When that can be seen through, it can bring peace. I wouldn't say it's the end of suffering, because, as I said, there's no control over the thoughts that pop up. So uncomfortable thoughts can still arise, uncomfortable feelings, situations. It's just whatever is appearing. This is it. It's always been this way. And what I've noticed here is I don't tend to talk about my past as much, or if at all now. I sometimes mention it here in these videos, but there's less talking about what's happened in the past, or less talking about a fantasy of the future, less wanting to engage in small talk or conversations with people. And I can only put that down to the realization that this is all there is. It's all, everyone's just identified with stories, beliefs, thoughts, which lose their significance when it's realized that, realize what a thought is versus what this is. I don't know if that made sense. You might lose a lot of motivation or interest in hobbies or things. You might not. There's no. It seems like there's no rules to this. I'm just talking about what's happened here. But when that sense of me, I'm going to say, falls away. I mean, it doesn't fall away. It was never there. But when the belief in the me character is no more, I mean, what happened here was, it was really uncomfortable for many, many months. I've talked about this on other videos. People call it the dark night of the soul, whatever. And what I found here is it still is a lack of motivation, wanting this to be any other way, needing things, trying to achieve things or get things or start new hobbies. There seems to be less of that here now. There's like just a basking in this that's here. It's peaceful and relaxing. So I mean, again, I wouldn't say this is an achievement or something that, I mean, the me character probably doesn't want this, because the me character wants things. The me character it's all about me. What's next is my life, comparing with other people, and all that's gone here. I mean, it can still arise, but it's just lost all this belief. But anyway, I feel like I'm talking about me. All I'm talking about is this that's here. And nobody knows what this is. Like, all beliefs are made up. Beliefs of you having a soul, beliefs of afterlife, beliefs of heaven and God. Beliefs of other realms, dimensions. I'm not saying there's anything right or wrong. They're just beliefs. They're just thoughts. They're not even your thoughts. But all that's being pointed to is that this that's here is before. It's where all thoughts come from. So nobody knows what this is. This as in this unknown existence. It's not what I expected. You know, I thought all that seeking, there was going to be something in it for me. But I didn't realise that what I was seeking was the end of me. It's a joke. It's an absolute cosmic joke. It's a bit of a shame in a way. What I mean by that is that, you know, you think the me character seems to develop at the age of 2 years old. And then you go on this journey of life, and it's me and my life, my story, and then it can be recognized that it's an illusion. Is that a good thing to see? Maybe. I don't know. I'm just sharing, you know, what seems to have happened here. You know, I look back in my imagined story of being, I don't know, 25-year-old, starting off in my career, all that motivation and drive, all that will to succeed, wanting to be better, really believing in me, in my life, and all these people. And it kind of feels like the rug's been pulled from underneath your feet. And then wholeness is just pointing at you, laughing. But then it's also wonderful. It's incredible how this fresh immediacy can be revealed for no one. And then the stillness and silence is ever present, as it always has been and always will be. What a joke. If that, if you've had a clear seeing of this, you would have realised there's no one really to talk to about this as well. I mean, yes, you can go to non-duality meetings or retreats or whatever, or reach out to people who are talking about this, such as me. But I'm talking about the way society is set up. It just seems like wholeness. Well, wholeness is running the show. It knows how to play the game. The joke is when it's realised that there is no self, you seem to be surrounded by others who are completely identified with their self. I've mentioned on other videos, I would love for all bodies or all of humanity to have a clear seeing of this. It's just a fantasy, there's no one that can control that. Wholeness is running the show. But it's just fascinating that, the few that see, I'm not making this out to be like specialness, or it's not that at all. The few that see that there's no one here seem to be surrounded by people who are identified with an illusion of a self. It's just the way it seems. Which can be both scary and liberating. Sometimes thoughts will arise here of all that seeking that happened here, and is all that seeking the reason for ending up here in having this clear seeing of no self? Or had there been no seeking at all, would I still be completely identified with the Gavin Brooks character, or believing in that character? I don't know the answer to that. It doesn't matter. It's a story. This has always been here, even through all that seeking. So there is no seeker. The seeker's an illusion. You can't find the seeker. So you don't need to seek. There's no, I mean, this is worth talking about, you know, there's nothing you need to learn. There's nothing, you don't have to read any books. You don't have to go to retreats or see gurus or watch 700 hours of Tony Parsons to have a clear seeing of what is. It's done already. There's nothing right or wrong with all that, by the way, because you're not doing that anyway. You know, if that body decides to pay £3,000 to go on a retreat in India, then that's just what's happening. You know, you didn't choose that. But all I'm saying is that this, the immediacy, is here now. This is it. You can't get it. You can't do anything to get it. That can trigger people, especially if you've been doing it for, in the story, for 30 or 40 years. But you didn't do that. Yeah, I think I'll leave it there. But yeah, thank you for watching as usual. Thank you for donating to the channel. Just seems to make the videos worthwhile. I've been making videos for like 12 months now, and you know, thank you for being a subscriber, and the comments, emails and phone calls that I've had. I've had some really interesting conversations with people. So I mean, I wouldn't even call it. I mean, people call it non-duality. I mean, it's just, I don't even know. I'm just talking about what is this this immediacy that's here, and it can be seen. The me character can be seen through. You'll notice that throughout my videos, there's no like teaching or advice. And I know this might be devastating, but you can't really teach this or give advice on this. It's just, there's no one talking, there's no one speaking these words. It's just happening. It seems that those that see through the belief in the me character, it just either happens or it doesn't happen, just like everything else. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a nice day.